You're not in some movie, you're in your own house. The lights are out, your phone is at 12%, and you're standing there with a stupidly small problem that suddenly feels huge. A torn backpack strap. A cracked lip that won't stop splitting. A candle that won't light because you can't find a working lighter. A sink that smells off because the usual cleaners are gone. Nothing dramatic, just a pile of little issues that all hit at once. That's when you realize what matters. In normal life, we treat convenience like it's permanent. If something breaks, you replace it. If you run out, you reorder it. If you get a cut, you clean it and move on. The system quietly does the hard part for you. When the system gets unreliable, even for a short stretch, value changes. Fast. Food and water are obvious, sure. But the things that shoot up in importance are often the boring everyday items that solve problems on the spot. Things that keep you warm, clean, able to repair gear, able to stay healthy, able to function without needing a store to rescue you. So I'm going to walk through 11 overlooked products that tend to become high-value trade items when supply chains stall and services get patchy. They're cheap now, they're ordinary now, but they're problem solvers. And problem solvers turn into currency when life stops cooperating, not because they're fancy, because they work. One more thing before we get into the list. If you've never thought about bartering, here's the simple version. In a stressed situation, people don't want complicated trades. They want clear value. They want items they recognize. They want things that are easy to divide, easy to carry, and easy to trust. That's why a box of baking soda can be more useful than a gold coin, and why a pocket-sized lighter can be more money than a stack of paper bills, depending on what's happening around you. Alright, let's start with a quiet monster of utility. Baking soda. Baking soda is so common you forget it exists, which is exactly why it becomes valuable when stores are thin. It's a multi-tool in a cardboard box. It helps with basic cleaning when you don't want harsh chemicals around food surfaces. It cuts odors in shoes, fridges, coolers, and small rooms. It's a gentle scrub for pots and pans when you don't have your usual products. It can help with personal hygiene in a pinch, like deodorizing feet or underarms when you're sweaty and stuck. It even has small household uses people don't think about, like freshening a trash bin, reducing funky smells in a cooler, or keeping a damp space from turning into a science experiment. If you've ever been in a humid house with no power for a few days, you know how fast things start to smell alive. People also use baking soda for heartburn relief, but this is where I want you to be smart. If you have blood pressure issues, kidney problems, or you're on certain medications, you don't want to freestyle remedies. In a disrupted world, creating a medical problem is the worst trade imaginable. So think of baking soda primarily as cleaning, deodorizing, and basic household support. Why it trades well is simple. It's cheap. It stores a long time if kept dry. It's easy to divide into smaller amounts, and almost everyone already understands what it does. No explanation required. Now, the next item is tiny, but it instantly changes your options. Disposable lighters, not fancy fire starters. Not the cool survival gadget, I mean the basic disposable lighters. Reliable fire means warmth, cooking, boiling questionable water, drying wet clothing, sterilizing a metal tool, and in some cases, keeping pipes from freezing. It's also morale. It's hard to explain how calming it is to have instant heat and flame when everything else feels uncertain. And the reason lighters become perfect barter items is that they're standardized and understood. People see one and immediately know what it can do. No instruction manual. In normal times, people say, "I'll just use matches." Then humidity hits. Matches turn useless. And suddenly a lighter is the only thing that works when you're tired and your hands are cold. The smart play is not buying one lighter. It's spreading them around. Kitchen, car, coat pocket, emergency bag, toolbox. That drawer you always forget. If one gets lost or borrowed, you still have backups. If you ever trade them, you're trading from surplus, not from your last working flame. Now let's shift to the thing that keeps your body warm in a way people don't think about. Needle and thread. People laugh at sewing kits until something tears at the wrong time. Then suddenly it's not funny. When replacement is easy, everything becomes disposable. When replacement is hard, repair becomes power. A small needle and thread kit can keep jackets, backpacks, sleeping bags, work pants, and straps alive for months or years longer than they should. It can fix buttons, patch seams, secure loose webbing, and handle the kind of annoying failures that slowly wreck your ability to function. I'll give you a real-world example. A backpack strap starts separating. In normal life, you shrug and buy a new pack. In a disruption, that strap is your ability to carry water, food, tools, and clothing. If it fails, your whole day becomes harder. A 20-minute stitch job prevents a 100-hour headache. Now, there's always someone who brings up field surgery. I'm keeping this grounded. If you're not trained, don't try to stitch wounds. Bad closure can trap infection and make things worse. Medical preparedness is about proper first aid supplies and training, not improvising surgery. Sewing kits are for gear and clothing repair, which is already massive value. Thread is lightweight, stores well, doesn't require power, and lasts a long time when kept dry. It's also easy to trade because it's compact and practical. People who work with their hands understand instantly. Now here's one that sounds silly until you've been outside in cold wind for 2 days. Chapstick and lip balm. This item is a morale booster that doubles as functional gear. Cracked lips are not cute winter dryness. They split, bleed, sting, and make eating and drinking annoying. And once skin is damaged, it's more vulnerable to infection and irritation, especially when you're already stressed and not sleeping great. Lip balm keeps your lips from turning into an open wound. That's the plain truth. It also helps with chafing, hot spots on heels, inner thighs, under backpack straps, anywhere friction keeps building. In a world where you might be walking more and resting less, preventing blisters and chafing isn't comfort, it's mobility. Mobility is survival. And in a pinch, waxy or petroleum-based balms can help as a fire starter when paired with cotton or cloth. Not magic, but a useful trick when you need a flame to catch, and your tinder is stubborn. This is why lip balm becomes valuable in harsh weather events. It's tiny, cheap, easy to carry, and everyone understands relief. Now, if you want a fast-fix tool that makes you look like a wizard, it's this. Zip ties. Zip ties are speed plus strength. They secure tarps, bundle cables, attach gear to a pack, stabilize a broken handle, keep a shelf from wobbling, and create quick fixes that would normally require tools and patience. The difference between zip ties and rope is skill and speed. Rope is great, but knots take time and finger dexterity. In the cold, with wet hands, in the dark, tying a good knot becomes a comedy routine. Zip ties don't care how numb your fingers are. Thread it, pull, done, and they don't loosen. Once a zip tie is set, it stays set. They also help with organization. That matters more than people admit. When you can't find your gear quickly, you waste time, you waste energy, and you make mistakes. Zip ties keep items bundled, labeled, and ready. In disruptions, small time savers become valuable. That's why people will trade for zip ties even though they look like a hardware store afterthought. Now, let's talk about sanitation without getting dramatic. Hydrogen peroxide. In prolonged disruptions, minor wounds can become serious if hygiene breaks down. Not because the world ends, but because you can't walk into urgent care like it's a coffee shop. Hydrogen peroxide is common and useful, but it's often misunderstood. It can be used for cleaning and basic household disinfection tasks, and many people keep it for basic wound cleaning, but it should be used according to the label and medical guidance. Overuse can irritate tissue, so the point isn't pour it on everything. The point is having options for sanitation when your usual products are limited. Peroxide is light sensitive, which is why it comes in dark bottles, stored cool. And dark, sealed, it holds up better. Smaller bottles can be smarter, because once opened, it slowly loses potency over time. From a trading perspective, peroxide is valuable because people understand what it's for. Keeping wounds and surfaces cleaner prevents problems from spiraling. That's the kind of value people will trade for when they're worried about infection and sickness. Now here's the item that people don't think about until their tools start failing in weird ways. Sewing machine oil. This one sounds oddly specific, but once you get it, you can't unsee it. In disruptions, it's often not the big items that fail first. It's the small moving parts. Hinges, locks, knife pivots, scissors, tools, anything with friction. Moisture and dust creep in. Things start sticking, then they seize. A lightweight precision oil keeps tools functioning when replacement isn't easy. Sewing machine oil is designed to be clean, light, and consistent. It's meant for precise mechanisms, which makes it useful for all sorts of small gear that starts failing under heavy use. Think about a door lock that starts binding, or a multi-tool that won't open, or scissors that start chewing instead of cutting. Those are small problems until they're the only problems you're dealing with all day. Oil is also one of the best trade in tiny amounts items. A few drops can restore function. That makes it easy to barter without giving away your whole supply. Now, here's a household item that turns into a sanitation and food preservation helper when the cleaning aisle becomes a ghost town. White vinegar. Vinegar is not glamorous. It's also extremely useful. It helps with basic cleaning, cutting odors, and reducing some mold and mildew issues in damp spaces. It can also be used in food preservation habits, like pickling, which matters when refrigeration is unreliable or you're trying to stretch produce. I'm not going to pretend vinegar replaces every disinfectant. It doesn't. But it's stable, cheap, multi-purpose, and familiar. Familiar items trade more easily because people trust them. Vinegar also stores well. It doesn't need refrigeration, it doesn't require special handling. It's the kind of thing you can keep and forget, and it will still be there when you need it. In a long disruption, still there is the point. Now let's hit the smallest repair item on this list, and one of the most underrated: safety pins. Safety pins are micro tools, tiny fixes, small solutions that prevent bigger failures. Broken zipper pull, safety pin. Torn strap, safety pin. Loose fabric, safety pin. Need to secure a bandage when you're out of tape. Safety pin carefully and keep it clean. They're also useful for organizing and securing gear. Pin a map, secure a scarf, make a quick clip point. Mark something in low light. They store forever, they're cheap, they're easy to divide and trade. And because people have used them their whole lives, they feel instantly valuable. Now for something people don't expect on a preparedness list, but it's a quiet monster of utility: dental floss. Yes, dental hygiene matters. Tooth problems are brutal when care isn't easy to access. But floss is also thin, strong cordage in a small, protective container. It can tie things, repair small gear, secure lightweight items, hang something, make quick lashings, even serve as an emergency bootlace fix. It resists moisture better than regular thread, and it's designed not to snap easily. That's why it works in your mouth, and that's why it works in the field. The container is a bonus too. Compact, sturdy, and good for storing a couple tiny items in a sealed bag if you need to. Now, the last item is something most people treat like kitchen clutter, but it can solve a ridiculous number of problems. Aluminum foil. Foil is one of the most underrated household tools, period. It helps with cooking and heat management. It can act as a moisture barrier to protect small items. It can wrap and separate foods. It can reflect heat. It can help you improvise when you're missing proper cookware. It also has signaling value because it reflects light well. A bright reflection can be seen from far away, which matters in search situations. And it's easy to trade because everyone understands it. Nobody needs you to explain why foil matters. They've used it their whole lives. Here's the deeper reason foil becomes valuable. It's consumable, but it's incredibly efficient. One roll can solve dozens of small problems. That makes it feel like a high-value resource in a world where replacement is uncertain. Now zoom out with me. All 11 of these items share the same traits. They're small, practical, recognizable, easy to carry, easy to divide. They solve immediate problems, the kind that show up when normal life isn't smooth. That's what real currency looks like when systems get unreliable. And here's the part people miss. You don't need to predict the exact disaster. You just need a cushion of solutions that work across a lot of scenarios. A lighter helps in a blackout. A sewing kit helps in a storm. Zip ties help when something breaks and you need a fast fix. Vinegar and baking soda help keep your space livable. Oil keeps tools working. Floss and safety pins fix the annoying little failures that become big failures later. Chapstick keeps you comfortable and functional. Peroxide supports sanitation. You're not buying items. You're buying problem solving. Here are a few practical rules that make these items even more valuable if you ever do trade them. Rule 1. Keep them clean and sealed. A lighter in a zip bag feels more trustworthy than a loose lighter pulled from someone's pocket. Same for floss, chapstick, sewing kits, and foil. In stressed situations, people worry about contamination and tampering. Packaging is trust. Rule 2. Trade in small units. If you only have gallon jugs and family-size everything, you either overpay or you refuse to trade. Small bundles let you be precise. 5 zip ties in a small bag, a mini sewing kit, a few safety pins in different sizes, a travel tube of balm, a small roll of foil. When you trade without gutting your own supplies, you keep control. Rule 3. Don't advertise. This is the part people get wrong. They think trading means showing off what they have. In reality, you want to look normal, quiet, like you have just enough. The moment you look like the supply store, you become everyone's solution, and that's not always safe or peaceful. Also, trade for needs, not for ego. It's tempting to turn bartering into a game, but the smartest trades are the ones that reduce risk. A lighter for batteries makes sense. A sewing kit for food makes sense. A handful of zip ties for a small repair makes sense. The goal is stability, not winning. And if you're thinking, okay, cool, but how do I store this without turning my house into a warehouse? Here's the simple approach. Pick one small bin. A plastic tote, a drawer, a shoebox, whatever. Put your small problem solvers there. Lighters, floss, safety pins. a couple sewing kits, a roll of foil, a couple boxes of baking soda, a bottle of vinegar, a small bottle of oil, a couple zip tie packs, and whatever sanitation products you're comfortable keeping. Then make a habit to restock quietly. If you use a lighter, replace it. If you grab the floss for a repair, buy another pack next grocery run. If you use vinegar for cleaning, pick up an extra. You're not building a mountain, you're building a cushion. That's the mindset shift. You're not preparing for one specific nightmare, you're preparing for all the ordinary failures that add up when services are slow and shelves are empty. Because the truth is, most people don't get taken out by one dramatic event. They get taken out by a chain of small problems. The cut that gets infected, the cold night with no fire, the broken strap that turns a walk into a limp, the damp house that turns into mold, the lack of sleep that turns into bad decisions. These boring little items interrupt those chains. So if you want a simple assignment that actually works, do this. Pick 3 items from this list and buy them this week. Not 10. 3. Put them in one dedicated spot. Learn where they are. Then next week, add 3 more. 6 weeks later, you'll have most of this covered, and you'll barely feel it financially. And more importantly, you'll have something most people don't. A quiet pile of options. When normal life gets weird, options are comfort. Options are safety. Options are what let you stay calm, while everyone else is running around trying to buy the same stuff at the same time. That's the whole game. Keep it simple, keep it useful, keep it quiet, and stack the boring tools that solve real problems, because boring is what keeps you moving.